In the last year, I've taught over 100 jazz guitar students, and they all hit 3 major roadblocks along the way. So in this video, I will show you the exact framework and plan that I use with my students inside Chase's Guitar Academy that helps them overcome these challenges and achieve their jazz guitar goals. In January, I'll also be hosting a live workshop called the Practice Reset to set your goals and plans for 2024 and help you crush them. If you want to check it out, grab a free 14-day trial to Chase's Guitar Academy in the links in the description. But even if you're not a member of CGA, the frameworks and solutions I'm about to show you will apply to your current situation, solving these 3 major obstacles. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I'll show you how you can access this Practice Reset Masterclass and get those brand new lessons and workshops for free. Now let's get into the plan and solve the first major roadblock. Roadblock number 1, information overload. I don't know what to learn and in what order. Let me give you a quick example to demonstrate. If you search online for best jazz songs for beginners, you get a whole bunch of suggestions from well-known educators that are terrible for beginners to actually learn. Some suggestions I've seen are Afternoon in Paris, Stella by Starlight, or Autumn Leaves, all of which go through multiple keys or use multiple scales like melodic minor, diminished, and various modes of the major scale. What these teachers fail to recognize is that knowledge that we're trying to acquire needs to be built on previous knowledge we've already gained. And this means we need to be smart about the order in which we sequence the knowledge we're trying to learn. For example, let's say you're trying to learn the tune So What, which is a great starting point because it has essentially just 2 chords. We have a section that has D minor, and then the B section goes up a half step to E flat minor. So it's very accessible for most beginner students. After that, you might get other suggestions for other tunes, but what we really should do is build on what we just learned from So What, this D minor and E flat minor, and think, okay, what song would be the next best song for me to learn if I know D minor and E flat minor? And this is in a modal jazz context. Well, one answer to this might be the song Little Sunflower, because that song has 3 basic chords, D minor, D major 7, and E flat major 7. So what we can do here is not only are we building on the D minor chord we already know, but the other 2 chords in it are very similar to the ones we just learned, D minor and E flat minor. And now we're going to learn D major and E flat major. So we get just a small little new concept of major 7 chord instead of minor 7, working off the same place. And from there, we build on to other tunes. So what if you could learn this way for all of the jazz repertoire? Well, you can, because I've done the hours and hours of organizing and research to put the order that would make sense in this method, building from the absolute basic of a song like So What to complicated jazz standards like Donna Lee, Giant Steps, and more. And this is what I call the Master Standards Blueprint, where I have ordered the top 100 jazz standards in this way, from the most basic to the most advanced, in the order that builds from the knowledge you've learned from previous songs. And not just saying that, but I actually spell out exactly what is the new material that you're going to be working on and what is the material, the information that you're building from. So my whole program inside Chase's Guitar Academy is based on this, but even if you're not a member of CGA, I've released the list of those first 50 tunes for free, which you can just check out in links in the description. You can just access that. So you also have a way to start from the basics and improve one song at a time. Roadblock number 2, lack of feedback. I don't know if I'm improving and what to do when I encounter a difficult topic. For some reason, we know that having a teacher will vastly speed up the learning process. But then as an adult, we don't actually get a teacher in many cases, as if we've outgrown the need for this kind of feedback and support. However, the best of the best in any field still have teachers, coaches, and mentors. Beyond just sports, even top surgeons have coaches. Even great artists have various mentors and people that they can go to for feedback. Now, the reason that feedback is so critical for your success as a student is because when you're in that learning process, you can't know what the next step along the path is if you haven't achieved it yet. So you need to find someone who has traveled that path and can clearly tell you what is the very next thing along this path that you need to do or action you need to take. And in my opinion, that's the role of a teacher. They can't walk the path for you, but they should be able to lay out the direction you should travel and then answer why that is the right direction. So any questions you have along the way, they should be able to clearly explain, this is why we're doing it in this way, not just because. So if having a teacher is so essential, then why do so many people go without one in the learning process as an adult? Well, I think there are two main reasons. One is financial and the other one is psychological. So the fact is that finding an expert in the field who is also willing and able to teach you that topic is a rare combination. That rarity also means that their time is valuable, and you as the student would have to invest to reap that reward. In the field of music, this usually takes the form of a private teacher that you would see once a week for between $75 and $100 an hour. The second reason is that finding a great teacher can be a challenging experience psychologically. Most people don't want to experience the discomfort of having someone expose their weaknesses, even if that process is meant to build them up in the long term. And the first step here is to accept that a teacher is necessary for you to reach your full potential in that goal that you've decided on. Even if your goal isn't to be a professional, even if it's to play casually, why would you want to not achieve the potential you can, and in this case, play as best as you can, even if you have no goals of doing that as a professional? So my goal here is to encourage you to find a teacher that you can get consistent feedback from who has walked the path that you want to be on. I know firsthand how important this kind of feedback is, especially as an adult learner, which is why inside CGA, I promise 24/7, 365-day feedback, personalized feedback from me to anyone who is a member of CGA, which means I'm personally watching the videos people post for feedback on their playing, or that send me messages in the chat, so that I can immediately get you on track and answer your questions, because I don't want you waiting a whole week to get that feedback from a private teacher in the normal situation that most students find themselves in, waiting a whole week to get that feedback from their private teacher and then maybe getting the answer at that point. You can get much faster progress if you get that feedback as soon as you need it. So if you are practicing and you have a question, you're stuck, you can send me a message. I usually answer within 10-15 minutes if I'm online, and then immediately keep making progress without having to wait and get discouraged. Now, no one else offers this because of the commitment to do that, but my goal is for my students to succeed, and I know that getting this feedback is the best way to do that. It basically guarantees your success if you put the time in. Again, if you're not a CGA member, the solution here is to find a teacher at whatever financial level you can afford so that you can get this kind of feedback. Roadblock number 3, motivation. I don't stay consistent and I no longer feel inspired or excited to play. So every student at some point has felt their motivation or drive decline. We all go through periods where we feel more motivated or less motivated to practice our instrument or even in just performing. Now, I can't speak for everyone here, but usually for me, this happens for one of 3 reasons. Reason number 1 is when I don't feel like I'm making progress towards my goal. Reason number 2 is when I feel like I'm alone in achieving that goal. And then the third reason is when my routine just feels stale. I've been doing the same thing over and over again. So let's tackle that first part. Now, when life is good, it's easy to practice because you feel like you're making progress and it just feels good to gain more skills and more ability. The problem is that the reverse is also true. When things aren't going well, we get demotivated. We're uninspired and we feel like maybe even this isn't the thing for me. Like maybe I've reached my potential and I can't get any better on my instrument. The solution to this problem is the one we just discussed. You need to get a teacher who can objectively see where you're at from the outside and then identify what you need to do to get back on track. The second problem that can make you feel unmotivated is feeling like you're doing this on your own. Time and time again, students vastly underestimate how motivating it is to be surrounded by like-minded people. If others are achieving that same goal that you've set out, then you also feel inspired to try your best and work hard. You don't want to let them down. You want to look good in front of your peers who are also doing that. And when you see them succeeding, you know that you can also achieve that success, especially in a class situation where you know others will be joining and feel like you're in that situation with them together. It's so much easier to show up and be consistent to do the work. And finally, the third problem is that you've just been doing the same routine over and over again for too long. We need to recognize that our brains crave novelty. We want to experience new things. And it's a bit of a catch-22 because at the same time that we want to experience new things, we need to have a routine and repetition in order to master something. These new experiences contribute greatly to our motivation and general excitement for achieving the goals that we want. And this is why in CGA, I built in the Jazz Master sessions starting this year. Every single month, we will have one of the world's best jazz guitars join in CGA. It's so motivating and exciting because all of the other members in CGA join at that time with one of these greats, and we're learning, but we're also hanging with them. We're asking them questions. We feel like we are in that same room live with one of the best. And that just is naturally exciting and fun.
Man, I did not see the Masters Jazz thing coming with those players. Uh, that's a game changer.
Outside of CGA, I'd encourage you to find a similar group of people that you can hang with and talk guitar, play guitar with, a group of people that make you feel inspired to play with. Doesn't have to be great players in a teaching situation. It can just be a group of people that are fun to play with and motivate you to keep up your skills. Having this support system and focusing on your motivation and your level of excitement is one of the best ways and underrated ways of making sure you are learning over the long term. So I hope this video helped you understand the three main roadblocks that most students face when learning jazz guitar and how you can overcome them with some planning and determination. As promised, I have one more thing to help you. In January, I will be hosting a 2-hour live workshop called the Practice Reset to help you personally plan your goals and get you set for 2024. You can get a ticket for $50 or just join CGA on a 14-day free trial to get access for free. Now, you of course can create your plan yourself and use the information I provide here on YouTube for free, but I really encourage you to check out CGA because there's a lot of other work that has gone into this to make your life as easy as possible and save you a ton of frustration and time. It's frustration that I've had to go through by making this in the first place for myself and that I want to share with you all. Within CGA, we have a great community of members, over 80 members from 16 plus countries all around the world, and they're all there to support each other and learn and grow in jazz guitar. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys check out the links in the description, and maybe I'll see you at that live workshop in January. See you there. Thanks, guys.